Righto. Close the visor so you can hear me a bit better. Welcome to the world's fastest scooter. So if the lack of engine noise is any giveaway today, I am riding a Harley-Davidson LiveWire. And I'm a wee bit conflicted. Apart from the lack of clutch, which every single time you get on this you start looking for. I picked this up on Monday. It's now Thursday. Open the visor because I'm fogging up. And yeah, the other day I'd only ridden it the once, and Harley announced that they are splitting LiveWire off into its own brand. So I don't quite know how I feel about that at the moment. It's sort of a bit of a Buell feeling. I'm hoping it doesn't mean the end of the LiveWire, because this thing is so cool. Let's close that lid down properly. It's such a good experience to ride one of these. If you get the chance, do it. It's hilarious fun. I only just noticed that the rear tyre on this bike is a wee bit flat topped, despite it only having done 700 k's. So this is definitely one of the bikes that at the press launch demonstrated the tyre flying ability of the LiveWire. So yeah, today I have a mission, apart from riding the LiveWire, which I have to give back sometime next week. My mission today is to go to the Wairere Falls near Matamata and collect the river geo tag thingy for the Best New Zealand Challenge. Far out, this thing's quick. I'm in eco mode at the moment, if you can see the dash here. Eco mode, it's showing a range of about 165 k's at the speed. Say about 110k loop. These bikes aren't particularly great at highway riding, so we'll see when I get to Matamata just if we're going to make this make it there and back. I've charged it up today. Charged it up from 79% after bringing it back from Hamilton. And yeah, she's it's a wicked machine. I've said this over and over. If you want to see the actual review of this bike from the launches I've done, I'll chuck a video up in the corner here or something, a link to that. I rode this in Oregon, in Portland, Portland, Oregon, I should say, at the world launch. I was lucky enough to be the only Kiwi to go over to that. Portland, by the way, it's like Hamilton but on crack. Quite literally on crack. Oh, this is going to be interesting. It's saying 92 kilometre range. Well, at least there's a fast charger in Matamata, that's all I can say. And there's a guy on an internal combustion engine bike trying to catch up to me. So yeah, what's he on? It's like a KTM possibly. Yeah, I did the launch of this in Portland, Oregon. It was awesome. Got a decent range out of the bikes, but it's a commuting bike, a city bike. It's not made for this highway stuff that I'm taking it on at the moment, as the estimated range dictates. But it's a fun bike, and that's well, that's part of the appeal of motorcycles. I'm still reaching for the non-existent clutch. Oh yeah, it is a KTM. It's on a 790 or something. So yeah, we're the whole thing I was going to do with this, and hopefully I still manage to get it done, is well, there's these river app geotags for this Best in New Zealand Challenge. So my goal is to knock off a few of those on electric power only, and see if we can get up the leaderboard, because I'm currently 8th equal with about 1 million other people. So yeah, that's my plan for this bike while I've got it. Just something different. It's not a review per se, though I am living with it. So as I said, this is my second ride on it. I've had to charge it so far once, so I'm hoping over the weekend when I take it to Rotorua, where I'm planning to grab another couple of geocaches, I'm hoping that then I will get a chance to chuck it on a fast charger, which will be an experience in itself as well. Because the one thing they wouldn't let us do when we were at, I've been to 3 launches on this bike now. I went to Malaysia when it was a prototype, I went to Oregon, and I went to Pukekohe where they launched it on the track, and KTM dude's coming up close for a gander, and yeah, they never let us charge it. It was not a thing that was going to happen, so actually charging it is yeah, it's kind of cool. You don't have to use petrol. It took what was it, just a little over 2 hours to charge on the wall charger from 79%. The last 20% of charging any battery is always the slowest. And yeah, it's hassle free, it's easy. The hardest thing is taking the charger pack out from under the seat and putting it back, because it's sort of all coiled in under there nicely, and it only fits just so. But no, I'm enjoying this. My range is going up, thank God, because would have sucked to only get to Matamata and then have to turn back. So it's saying I've got 92% battery left. It is quite cold as well. Lithium ion batteries don't like cold weather. But thankfully it's not raining, because it was pissing down with rain when I picked this up on Monday, and that was not hugely fun. So for now I'm a bit bored stuck behind this truck, so I'm going to flick the camera off and catch up with you later. Right, well, we dispatched of the truck quite easily. Sorry I didn't record the ludicrous speed that it instantly can get up to. One thing's for sure, it's a shit ton faster than Rosie the Little Rally. And yeah, so we're enjoying this lovely evening ride. Yeah, it's going to be nice. It's interesting riding this out in the real world, like away from the Harley people and everyone that's trying to sort of give you the best of this bike. So yeah, there's definitely some pros and cons to this bike. I said at the beginning that it's like the world's most overpowered, expensive scooter. It's $54,000, and as such only 7 or 8 have been sold in New Zealand since they arrived last year, or at least 7 or 8 have been registered for the road. This is one of them. So yeah, there's a very interesting, they're not a mass market bike, and Harley knew that when they brought it out, but it's a bit of a disappointment that the uptake is so slow, and there is so much hate towards this bike. It's ridiculous. And if you're watching this, you're either curious or you're a fan. I doubt anyone that is actually watching this that has strong feelings against electric motorcycles. And that's a shame, really, because you're missing out. Like, it is quite fun, and yes, range is limited. Electric bikes don't do great, or electric vehicles in general don't do great on highways, just constant speed and whatnot. They just churn through your battery. It's got its place. Like in the town, it gets really decent range. Like I could do my old commute up the Southern Motorway in Auckland for most of a week without having to charge this thing. Right, so my plan, as I said, I'm off to Wairere Falls, or at least the car park, to grab a geocache for the River App Challenge, and I'm hoping that this will sort of show that I've got enough range in this to get myself from Cambridge to Rotorua. If I get to Wairere Falls, come back and I have to charge up at the fast charger in Matamata, well then yeah, it's not going to cut the mustard. So the falls, by the way, they're out there in those mountains somewhere. So it's not a huge ride. It's about 110k there and back from home. And at the moment it's showing that I should be able to do this. There is the anxiety there though, the range anxiety. I did try and absolutely hammer this bike at the world launch as well, and I think we got over, I think we got 100 miles or something, and we still had range, so it might be a bit unfounded, but being out here unsupported on my own, with a wife with 2 grizzly children sitting at home waiting for me to come home and cook dinner, I'd rather not have to stop and charge this up. I seem so focused on the range, but that's a whole very big part of riding this bike, is you are limited in what you can do with it. It's not like I could jump on this and go down to Topor in one hit. I might be able to do it, but there's not a lot of charging infrastructure along State Highway 1 between here and between me and there. Yeah, so this is Matamata. And that was a really cool ute. So the hills up here, they're the Kaimai Ranges. They run along sort of the rim of the Bay of Plenty up to the Coromandel Ranges. Yeah, I'm wondering if there's any trails up there. There's meant to be. But whether or not you can access them publicly, that's another story. I know one called Thompson's Track, which I've been meaning to have a crack at, but I'm a bit chicken on doing it just by myself. So I've done 40 k's, I've got somewhere between 5 and 10 k's to go before I reach my destination. Bike's saying I've got plenty of range. Yeah, I've not been hammering it, and I have been in eco mode this whole time. You do have multiple rider modes. Well, you've got 3 rider preference ones, road, sport, rain and eco, plus your 3 rider customizable ones. And you can go into the menu real deep. You can turn everything all the way down, make it absolutely gutless, but have the best range possible, or you can turn everything up, or you can sort of tailor it how you want. So you can sort of tailor how the regen comes in, you can tailor how the power comes on, all that kind of stuff. I had a bit of a play with it at Pukekohe. It was a bit of fun, but then basically I just turned everything up to the max, because on the racetrack I wasn't caring about range. But yeah, surprisingly comfortable for such a small sporty seat. Normally on my bike I've got a really sore butt by this point in the ride, so it's yeah, you could tour. It's one of the things I really want to know about Long Way Up, is if the bikes that Ewan and Charlie rode still had the same seats and subframes. I'd love to see something on those bikes in depth, even though they're completely irrelevant. Whoa, that's where I want to go. Stopped really well. I was looking for my gear shifter again there. And we found the waterfalls. We're not even at the car park. Look at that. Right, so we've seen the waterfall. Now the mission is to find the car park and smash out that geocache. Right, oh. Killer. Man, love to go for a walk up there if I had the time. Right, so what was I saying before I got distracted by the pretty view? Yeah, more comfortable than Rosie, surprisingly. Range, yeah, it's here and there. I've been riding it in eco mode today because I'm sort of out on a trial, trying to sort of ascertain if there is enough range in this bike to get to Rotorua. Righto, we are nearly at the waterfall, so I'll hop off and I will walk you through and talk you through the bike. Right. Waiorere Falls, we're here. The River app will probably tell me I have done the thing I want to do. I'm also using my quad lock on this bike with my iPhone, which I don't tend to do with my own bike because it's Well, there's no high frequency vibrations, so it should be fine to take photos with. Alright, let's unlock this phone. So yeah, LiveWire. Alright, yeah, cool. LiveWire, so, electric Harley-Davidson. It's definitely not everyone's cup of tea. Styled like a sports bike. The motor, because it's electric, runs along the base of the bike. Most of the bike's mass is a massive lithium-ion battery with cooling fins. Monoshock in the rear, upside-down forks at the front. Both have plenty of adjustment. I haven't bothered fluffing around with it yet, because I don't really know what I'm doing when it comes to adjusting suspension. Michelin Scorcher tyres. They're alright. They flick up a lot of water in the rain. I've ridden it in the rain. I didn't get electrocuted and I did not die, which is a win. And yeah, we've been having a bit of fun with it today, let's say. So, Brembo brakes, really good at stopping, because you've got the regen system built in as well, so it stops really well. I really like the look of it. I think it's a cool bike. Take some photos. So, living with the LiveWire, plugging it in is its own fun task. You're just down on the left hand side next to the subframe is a lever. You pull the lever and the seat folds backwards and up like a clamshell. And right, okay, we've started the bike. Let's just turn around in a U-turn. Not the bike's forte, just tight steering lock. Oh god, it is heavy. Very heavy. Alright, but it is so quiet. Right. Yay! Point of Interest Challenge awarded. Congrats, you visited Wairere Falls. Hooray, thank you. I know I did that because I've got a photo to prove it. Time to head home. So, charging bike takes about 8 hours on the wall charger. 1 to 2 hours on a DC fast charger. So one of the reasons I'm going to hopefully go to Rotorua over the weekend. So part of the goal is to use a DC fast charger for the first time, because let's face it, this is the only motorcycle on the market currently that has need for one. And two being, it's the DC fast chargers extend your range as well, so you can get a lot more achieved in a day with the DC fast charger than you can plugging into your wall. So, what do I like about it? It's cool, flies under the radar surprisingly well, and yeah, I'm genuinely quite, well, everyone knows I'm a bit of a fan of this bike. It's, yeah, it is what it is. It's something quite cool, but then there are those problems, and main problem is the price point. $54,000 for a bike that does 235 kilometers max on a charge, and then you have to charge it for 8 hours. Harley does say that you should charge the bike on a DC fast charger only once out of every 4 charges to maintain battery life. I don't know how that works specifically, but yeah, apparently if you use a DC fast charger, it's not great for the battery if you're constantly using them. Right, I have right of way. Sorry, I was just telling a blonde lady in a black car that I had right of way. Where was I? Yeah, fast charger, blah blah blah. Yeah, I love the styling, I love the riding position. As I said earlier, it's, or I may have said earlier, can't remember, the riding position is comfy. It's sort of a low down, sort of aggressive Street Fighter stance. I'm a bit of a fan of it. Definitely starting to feel a bit of pain in the backside. No cars coming, cool. but it's nothing in terms of pain like the Honda Rally seat is. Surprisingly comfortable considering how little real estate there is and how little padding. I probably wouldn't put a pillion on the back though. Just saying. Pillion, yeah, probably wouldn't enjoy being on this for particularly long. Other things I like, the fact it's got adjustable suspension. You can, well, in theory you can take it on a track, but I think most racetracks actually don't want EVs on their tracks because if they crash, it's a whole hullabaloo. But it's cool. You can have a heck of a lot of fun. It's just twist and go, so any idiot can do it. The hardest part is low speed operation, because you don't have a clutch to feather. It's all that precise control from your right hand. But it's a cool bike. I really dig it. And yeah, the problem is its price and its range. The range, yeah, you can get over it. If you're riding only in the city, the range actually isn't going to be a problem. If you're living in Auckland or Christchurch or Wellington, yeah, you're not going to have any issues with, you're not going to be going far enough in a day if you're just commuting on one of these to have any issues when it comes to the range of the bike. But that price point, 54 grand. In America, when they debuted this bike, they said it was going to be about 29,000 US dollars. At the time I did a conversion that came out to just over 40 grand, and I was like, yeah, that's palatable, but 54 grand, it's a real stretch, and I think that's shown in just how few people have actually bought this bike. Yeah, what else can I say? Well, I've successfully got my first point of interest, my first geocache. I'm now heading on my way back to Cambridge via Matamata, via Okuya Springs Road. It's a stunning evening, blue sky, barely a cloud in the sky. The sun is just starting to set. Oh, we're about half an hour away from the sun setting. I can't see dick if I look that way. But yeah, it is tremendously validating to get to use this bike in, well, out in the wild. It's, yeah, a tremendous privilege, really. So yeah, we will check in with you again once we either run out of battery or we are closer to Cambridge. So right now I've done 62 kilometers. The bike is showing 52% battery and 71 kilometers range. So we will see how we're getting on in a few minutes. So catch you then. Right, I am just about to turn back onto State Highway 1. Hopefully. There is a lot of traffic. But traffic's a good thing on the LiveWire because you go slower and you get better range. My hands are going numb. Or at least my hands are very, very cold. Rub them together a bit. Do some clapping, get some blood circulating in them again. Right, so turning on to State Highway 1. From, what is it, State Highway 29 or something? The road that goes to Tauranga. I have 34% battery remaining. 45 k's of range, and I think I'm going to get home. But how much juice will I have at home, and will I have to continue riding at 80 kilometers an hour? I have been very ginger on the throttle. I haven't needed to go fast, so I haven't, but I've also been conscious that I'll get in a lot of trouble if I run out of battery on the side of the road and miss making dinner for my family. So we are cruising along. Cool, I can just whack on cruise control because we are in a line of traffic. So 20 k's to Cambridge. I have 43 k's of range. That should mean I have 20 k's of range left in theory when I get home. In theory. So yeah, riding the LiveWire, it's a roadster, so it's how do we say, you're out in the wind, out in the breeze a bit. I miss having a fairing. The little bikini fairing on the LiveWire doesn't exactly do much other than look cool. and it's got a weird hole in it actually, where I'm guessing it's where an accessory screen goes. I know there's a lot of accessories you can get for this bike to customize it, but yeah, like there's this slot in the top of the cowling that goes over the light, and it's got a hole in the bottom of it, so you can like see that the headlight's on. Why, I don't know. But it's there. It could almost be a phone hole, to be honest, but for that I've got the quad lock, because I'm not worried about high frequency vibrations on an electric motorcycle. Oh, crikey, it's a bumpy road. The suspension's definitely set a lot firmer than what I'm used to. Oh, crikey, bumpy. So, in practice, you may remember way back when this was a prototype, it had the worst mirrors ever envisaged by man. All they let you see was your knees. They used to hang down below the bar, and yeah, they look cool, they didn't function at all. The mirrors on this bike they're better, they function, they are incredibly clear, but yeah, I have to squeeze my elbows in to actually get a good view behind me, which is a bit annoying. I get a good view of my forearms otherwise, and I have fiddled around trying to get the adjustment just so, and that seems to be sort of the best I can get out of these mirrors. What else can you do? You can fiddle around with the traction control, which I'm not particularly keen to do with the roads being slippery. They're not wet today, they were definitely wet. I had the traction control kicking and saved my butt on day one with this bike. But yeah, overall the ride is continuing, it is nice. I'm feeling a lot more relaxed now. One of the things with riding the electric bike is range anxiety, and it's not designed for this sort of highway cruising sort of thing. It's designed for someone living in a big city, really. So thinking Auckland, Christchurch, Wellington even. It's not really designed to be on the open road like I'm currently using it for. But it's doing fine. I would like to be in a more sportier ride mode, but when we get closer to Cambridge I might do that and see how much battery I can waste in the last 10k's. What else can I say about this bike? It's, yeah, the TFT screen's really nice. Nice and clear, easy to read. Green means go. It's got green accents on the side of it once the bike's turned on. Yeah, overall the headlight. So LED headlight. It is now getting dark. The sun has set, it is cold, my hands are numb, and the headlight seems to be working quite nicely. What happens with high beam? Let's turn high beam on. Oh yeah, there's a nice spot from that high beam. So yeah, this is we're coming up to the end of day one with the LiveWire. Well, day one of actually using it, apart from just bringing it home. And yeah, we've ticked off our first point of interest from the River Challenge. I have 2 more in mind that I'd like to get. If I'm super lucky, there are a couple more in total that I'd like to try and get, but riding all weekend might not go down so well with the wife, so we'll play that by ear. Right, so 30% battery left, 49k's of range. I'll catch up with you a little later on. Okay, well, I've switched it into sports mode because why not? I'm nearly home. I have 22% battery left, and this bike is a lot of fun to just twist the throttle and see how quick it'll go. Yeah, it is getting dark. It is very cold. I was hoping I could overtake these people, but I can't see where I am. Man, this bike's quick, and it's it just goes. Alright, so I think there's definitely enough juice in this thing to successfully get me to Rotorua, which is the next goal. So Saturday or Sunday, it's currently Thursday, depending on which day has the better weather forecast, I'm going to take this bike to Rotorua There are 2 points of interest there, one of which is Lake Tarawera, the other one I think is the central city of Rotorua. Whoa! Good God, that's foot quick. Turns out the reason they say no passing on the painted median is because, yeah, it's slippery. Right. So, yeah, the next plan is Rotorua. I'll talk to you then.